Hello, my name is Matthias Cavodio. I'd like to welcome guys to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Avengers Initiative issues 13. Listen to 8 from 13. There we go. Written by Dan Slott and Chris Gage. These issues came out in 2008. As I said in a previous video, like this whole run is really solid. If you haven't read them, don't let me spoil it for you guys. Just go out, get your hands on them. You're going to have a lot of fun. Like even the filler issues are really entertaining. So without further ado, I'm going to get into stuff that I liked and the other stuff that I really liked. Yeah, because the thing is, I'm a real sucker for super obscure characters, which this series has tons of. And like there's very, very few things that I actually didn't like about the whole run itself. Like I can count them just on one hand. So let's get into issue number 8, where we have the arrival of new recruits to the Initiative's main base. And one thing that really got me pumped back in the day when I saw this particular issue, we have the incorporation of Taskmaster, one of my favorite villains. I really love Taskmaster. I have to say, like the first Spider-Man issue that I ever got, one of the first ones, had Taskmaster in it. It was illustrated by Todd McFarlane. So I always thought to myself after seeing that particular issue, like, man, that character, what a badass he is. And I was really surprised when I started collecting comic books that Taskmaster doesn't appear too much up until this time. Like he made his first appearance, I guess early to mid 80s, and he popped up very sparingly. And then from the Initiative, from this point on out, he started being more of a recurring character in Marvel in general, but like he was sort of forgotten for a real long time. So that was really cool to see Taskmaster here. He's going to be one of the drill sergeants for the Initiative. He's going to be working very closely with Gauntlet and stuff like that. Here we have some of the new recruits. Some of the more interesting one is the Eric O'Grady Ant-Man, the one that followed after Scott Lang. He's going to be part of the Shadow Initiative. We have Crusader here, who's actually a Skrull, but he's a good Skrull. He has he uses a ring that's part of the Cosmic Cube. He made his first appearance in the Marvel Team Up series. I think he was created by Robert Kirkman. And so what happens is, in this particular first issue, is Taskmaster is like questioning all the new recruits, who they are, what they can do. He gets to Eric O'Grady Ant-Man, and Eric O'Grady starts bad-mouthing the previous Ant-Man, Scott Lang. But the problem is, Stature, who is Scott Lang's daughter, is present, and she flips out that Ant-Man, this new Ant-Man, is disrespecting the memory of his father. So they get into this colossal battle, and Hank Pym, who is actually a Skrull, he's an infiltrated Skrull. He grows to a gigantic size, trying to stop this fight. And what happens is Gyrick just tells Taskmaster, like, end this battle. And Taskmaster just ends the battle in such a badass way. It just really illustrates how much of a badass Taskmaster is. It's like he resolves the whole fight in one foul swoop. What happens in issue 8 is like we get like brief flashes of something went wrong in the Initiative base. Someone's trying to hunt down Hank Pym, trying to kill him. In issue 9, we see who it is. It's the original villain for the series. His name is Killed in Action. He's actually a clone of a character called MVP, who was actually killed in the first issue. They decided to clone him. They cloned him several times. Actually, the Scarlet Spiders, or the Iron Spiders, I'm not sure how they're called. There are 3 of them. They're all clones of MVP. There's also another MVP clone that was sent back to his family to live with him, but the real deal died. So what happened and how did we get to the situation? So we have Taskmaster. He's really drilling hard all the new recruits. Like he's mumbling to himself, like saying, these guys are just terrible. They don't know what they're doing. They're not worth my time. Like he's making things really miserable for the new recruits. So in the first issue, there was a character called Arsenal. She had a weapon called the Tactagon. So after she accidentally killed the original MVP, they stripped her of this weapon called the Tactagon. And what they do is they create another MVP clone And they're having issues with these MVP clones because they're sort of having free will. They're sort of improvising and have their own original ideas. When they put the Tactagon on this MVP clone, he fuses together and he remembers his death. He remembers everything went down and he totally flips out. Like he really wants to make everyone pay, all the ones responsible to the death of the original MVP. So basically he goes on a full-on killing spree. He starts taking people down left and right. He's freaking brutal. And what the story shows is how the Tactagon is virtually an unstoppable weapon. It can adapt to any type of situation. So he's just blowing away recruits left and right. And there's one really badass moment where Killed in Action crosses paths with Taskmaster and Taskmaster's like, hey, I don't have a beef with you. Like, am I on your list? And Killed in Action's like, no, you're okay. And Taskmaster just sort of breathes a sigh of relief. He's like, he knows he would have been in real deep shit if he would have had to deal with this guy. So the Shadow Initiative is also activated, trying to take him down. He's killing people left and right. He's virtually like he's like a juggernaut with a machine gun. So, and there's a really good character moment between Eric O'Grady and Taskmasters. Like there's some of the dialogues in the series. Like there's some really small moments where the writing just all the writing is really good, but there's moments that's just pure gold. Like the relationship between Taskmaster and Ant-Man here is just fantastic. So the Scarlet Spiders arrive. There are 3 MVP clones, as I said previously. They're trying to talk down Killed in Action. He just doesn't want to hear nothing of it. He just chops off one of the clones' heads. Like, you guys are all fakes. Then we have Killed in Action battling against Gauntlet, because the owners of these weapons, the Gauntlet and the Tactagon, previously were like these 2 aliens fighting against space. We don't really know why they were fighting, but the thing is they wanted to kill each other. So these weapons sort of have the memories of their original wielders. So they start going at it. And what happens is they know that Killed in Action is going to probably try to hunt down and kill the original clone that's living with his father. So we have the New Warriors who have all defective. All these guys used to be members of the Initiative. They have left. They've gone AWOL. They reformed the New Warriors. And they want to protect MVP's family. So this is a really badass moment. Like War Machine pulls out all of his weapons. Like, I'm going to be able to stop him. Like, and so it's just insanely overkill. And Killed in Action just walks by and just blows War Machine away with just one blast. So things go from bad to worse. The New Warriors are trying to stop Killed in Action. They have like this really cool plan how they're going to just put this thing on his head and it's going to pretty much wipe his mind out. It's the only way they can stop him. We have the mighty Avengers also arriving, trying to stop the situation, but Killed in Action is just blowing everyone away left and right. After the heroes defeat Killed in Action, issue number 12 is pretty much a filler issue. It's a pretty good filler issue. Like, there's some pretty good dialogues, especially this moment with Taskmaster and Triathlon are taking an urn to a family which this hero was killed during the battle with Killed in Action. They give him his ashes, and like Taskmaster just shows no respect for the family because the guy had sort of like a stupid power where he made potions and he can conjure up dragons and stuff like that. So this is like a pretty funny moment here. So we thought Trauma had died, but he didn't. So we discover that something's up with Trauma's powers. There's more to him than those fear-based powers. He seems to be more powerful than he seems. Also, Constrictor, who lost his arms during the battle with Killed in Action, gets new cybernetic arms with new type of coil powers and stuff like that. Then we have sort of like the setup of Crusader, who's going to be like a pretty important character during the Secret Invasion crossover. As I said before, he's a Skrull, but he's a good one. Then we have the New Warrior characters that were part of the Initiative. that definitively decide to part ways with the Initiative. They have want nothing to do with them, except for Ultra Girl. She's gonna go back to the Initiative. Here's where she actually gets that Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel uniform that she uses very briefly during this time. Carol Danvers gives it to her, like you can see right here. There we go. And after this, we have a awesome story with the introduction of one of the best Avengers ever, Butterball. This standalone issue number 13, it's a transition issue to the next big story arc, but this one is really good. We have new recruits, that Gorilla Girl, Prodigy, this Bat dude, I don't know who she is. I don't really know who this guy is, and they're both pretty obscure. But we have Butterball, who his powers, he just doesn't, he has like this insane level of stamina. Like he can run, but very slowly, forever. He never tires, but he can never lift a great amount of weight. But he just, he has a really weird power set that's not useful for anything. So this sort of drives Taskmaster crazy because they don't know how to take advantage of his powers. He's super invulnerable, but at the same time, he can't do anything interestingly. So this standalone story is like one of the best of the series. And what happens is, like, no one takes Butterball seriously. Everyone's really giving him a real hard time. But he actually saves his teammates and the Initiative. Well, not all the Initiative, but they were blindsided by an attack of a group of supervillains. And they were able to defeat these villains thanks to Butterball. But at the end of the story, he gets kicked out of the Initiative because they can't find how to use his powers properly. But he does win the respect of Constrictor and Taskmasters. Like, he really saved the day. So at the end of the story, Taskmaster and Constrictor take a photo with him showing off that he was able to defeat these two supervillains, that he was able to take them down. And it's just really good writing. It's this one story, as I said before, it's a blast. So hope you guys like this video. See you guys next time. Bye.